Your gut is your whole body.
It is. And that's so amazing. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And I'll be 54. People was like, "Dang, Miss Ann or Mom doing some, the children that I help raise other children." They say, "You aging backwards. How'd you doing that?"
Right.
And that's because I cut out a lot of things. Sugars.
Okay, Ann, we definitely gotta get ready for the show.
Okay.
And did we lose the shot some kind of way? Because we was
now it was everybody was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you moving back and forth. Okay. That's fine like that.
It got a little cricket when I had to put the
Okay, I see.
yeah, when I put the passcode back in. Let me see. It's not on the Zoom. Okay, so now it's taking you out the shot.
Let me see.
Hold up, our heads is cut off.
Yes, too long.
Yeah, our heads got cut off. Now, you're not in the shot anymore.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. All right. We're grassroots and up and coming.
Is it recording already?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You added it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, since it's doing like that, because it's cutting me off.
What's cutting?
Let's see. I have 4 minutes to deal with this. Okay.
So we're trying to add both of them together.
Yeah, just make this one only in her deed. Something occurred when. Okay, there we go. All right, it'll work for now. Cool. Now hit that record button on that one because somehow it stopped that one. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. So are you still in there?
I'm gonna scoot up a little bit more to get you in. Just a tad bit more.
All right. Now just tilt it up because our heads is getting kind of like, there you go. All right, because we about to be on that countdown. All right. So, shoot.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Thank you.
All right, we're down to 1 minute.
Okay, moving forward.
Okay, Miss Diana, can you give me a mic check on that blue mic?
How's this? How is this? How is this?
Oh, you know, you didn't done this before.
I have. I've done many radio shows.
Yes. You might be able to school me on a little something. I always like to learn. All right, so I should be taking this over from them in just a second. And that's track number 3. WAIF Cincinnati, 88.3 FM. WAIF is your community radio station we serve only to open our airways to responsible, divergent point of views. Opinions expressed on the Getting to Know do not reflect those of WAIF staff, Board of Trustees, or other programmers. The opinions are my own views, those of my guests, callers, and co-hosts. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Hello, Cincinnati and beyond, coming to you straight in your home and into your time zone. Like always, this is Getting in the Know, powered by the Joy Air Foundation, and I appreciate y'all joining me every Wednesday at 1 o'clock so you can get in the know and overcome adversity. Like I always say, if knowledge is priceless and information is key, then people plus knowledge equals solutions. So we got a great show packed full of some great information today. And in a minute after we do our weekly tribute to my daughter, and once again, thanks for joining me in that weekly tribute, we're going to cover a much needed topic in our ethnic community. But right now, y'all just go to your quiet place, free your mind, open your hearts, and like y'all love, the co-host always says, breathe while you listen to the tribute to my daughter. Unbelievable was Tierra upon her birth, August 10th, 1988. Unbelievable, the Divine One chose me to be Tierra's delivery way. Unbelievable, Tierra's spirit is powerful. Her heart is pure. Her soul is unique. Unbelievable, now I am touched by my angel. Tierra's love is in heaven for me. Unbelievable, our journey together, our downs, our ups, our lows, our highs. Unbelievable, our journey together is eternity, mother-daughter love for life. Unbelievable, Tierra, I pledge to you with tender love and care. Unbelievable, your legacy will shine. I dedicate to you your foundation, Joy Air. Unbelievable, through space and time, Tierra's soul flies free as it soars. Unbelievable, with Jesus in his keeping. Tierra, now your place is forevermore. Unbelievable, you always say I love you, and I always say diddle with all my heart. Unbelievable, now our love is in spirit, is our rainbow in the stars. Unbelievable. All right. Thank you once again for joining me in that tribute, keeping my daughter's initiatives of happiness and healthiness and harmony alive in our community. I always thank my listeners, my callers, and my guests. So moving right along, we also have to thank our Father every day for waking us up and helping us be able to tackle these initiatives and love on our loved ones and appreciate the fact that we are part of an important movement. Now, today's topic, without any further ado, it is a topic that is in our ethnic community that is underrated. Now, I'm going to say what the topic is, and then we're going to do a couple of little studio introductions, and then we're just going to dive right in. We're going to be as transparent as we can. We're going to shake it up when we hit the really hot topic points, because this is information we need in our ethnic community. So today's topic is about blood cancer, specifically Black myeloma awareness. I'll say that again, Black myeloma awareness. And HealthTree is really awesome with getting the information out there. So since I've already said who's here, I'm going to let my in-studio guest introduce herself. And before you do, thank you and welcome to the Getting to Know show, because we ready for this.
Well, thank you for having me. I am really excited to share a lot of information we have. My name is Diana Valentine, and I am very much involved with HealthTree Foundation. I came to HealthTree Foundation in 2020. My husband was indeed diagnosed with multiple myeloma in 2003. He passed in 2013. And there is a lot that I have learned in that period of time, and I have engaged in the community and continuing to engage in the community to educate, to advocate in behalf and for myeloma patients. So anything that I can share and anything I can do to help the community, I'm all in for it.
We're going to shake that up right there. Because she is about overcoming adversity and getting the information out there. And I'd like to thank you again, for your determination and your initiatives. And I'm glad we are in a collaboration so we can make the impact even deeper. So
Thank
before we go on and get the topic started, John Love, go ahead, bless that mic.
Yes, ma'am. Greetings, everyone. I am very grateful to be here today. And let's give our Father, our Mother, our Creator a big hug, as in hugging ourselves, and a thank you for waking us up this morning to have another chance, an opportunity to make a change and to try to get it right and do it right. And thank you for listening, everyone. And we do have a very hot topic today. And hopefully for whoever may be going through this type of rare blood cancer, I hope you can learn something today, and some information will be very valuable for you today. And I would like to say for everyone, let's breathe and let's relax and let's listen and open our minds and keep it positive. Breathe in your nose, hold it for 3 seconds, and breathe out your mouth. As I say, do that 1 to 5 times. And do not pass out. And let's get on with our day. Amen.
All right. So, if you guys want to join our live discussion, you can hit us up at 513-961-8900. Or sometimes you might just want to listen and hear all what's being said. You can also check out what happened on the show at our Facebook page, which is Facebook at Get In The Know, GiTK. I'm going to shout that out again throughout the show. And I also want at the top of the hour shout out Health Tree too. That is healthtree.org. These links will be repeated throughout the show. I just want to let y'all know where to get in the know. So without further ado, let's start this topic of discussion. So Miss Diana, my first question is, tell us what the Health Tree Foundation is and exactly who it helps.
Okay, Health Tree Foundation was started in 2012 by our founder and CEO, that is Jennifer Alstrom. She was diagnosed with myeloma and had a hard time understanding where to go to get the information she needed so she can understand her illness and realize how difficult it must be for everyone else. In addition to that, when you are diagnosed with a very chronic and a serious disease such as cancer, you want to know what you can do if you can actually cure that disease, you can live with that disease, exactly what your life is going to be. And she had a hard time finding a lot of information, so she and her husband got together and decided, well, we have a lot of skills, how can we use our skills to get this information out and to also help herself and help everyone else in the process. So Health Tree started with a podcast with Jenny interviewing a lot of researchers and doctors who are very, very big in multiple myeloma, and it has since grown. It is growing exponentially. It is now with all blood cancers, although myeloma we're going to be focusing on because myeloma affects the African American communities disproportionately than it does within the other communities. And we have additional, disparity of healthcare. We know the additional challenges that African Americans have when getting access to care and getting access to treatment and understanding what their treatment is. And so, in a nutshell, Health Tree is there to help everyone. And in doing that, we have a REACH program. REACH programs are being really taken advantage of, and a lot of pharmaceutical companies are also understanding the need to reach out to the community. We all know what happened with COVID. COVID brought a spotlight on everything that's going, how disparities with healthcare in the African American community, and it doesn't seem to matter what illness it is. We seem to be affected disproportionately in a negative way.
That is just
right?
Yes, ma'am.
So the REACH is called Research, stands for Research, Educate, Advocate, Connect, and to Heal. And that includes the Black myeloma communities, Hispanic myeloma communities, and rural myeloma health communities. So we have a huge reach, and we're getting broader.
Okay.
Could you repeat that REACH acronym?
Yes, REACH stands for research, because in order to advance treatments there has to be research.
Right.
I had a brother who had leukemia. He passed at 5 years old here in Cincinnati. And that leukemia, because of research, because of people participating in clinical trials, that cancer is now almost completely eliminated. I mean, it used to be a 99% death rate, and that death rate is flipped on its heels, maybe 1 or 2% now, because of the treatment and because of participation. So research, educate. We need to educate our communities on what their disease is, on what kind of things they can do to help themselves, where to go get the help they need. We have the advocate. I am an advocate. Teach people how to advocate on behalf of themselves, because they're sitting there in that room with that doctor. They need to be able to ask the questions of the doctor and not be afraid to ask those questions, and not be afraid to ask for the assistance and the understanding they need on behalf of themselves. And we also offer Connect, where you can call in, connect with other people with your type of diseases, because myeloma is not just one type of blood cancer. It has different variations or iterations of myeloma. And so if you don't understand that, you don't understand the right way to get treated, right?
Wow.
And then we also offer things to heal. We have people that can talk to you about where you are, where to get help for varying symptoms or varying things you have, like neuropathy. That's very, very common with some of the medications you take for myeloma, for maybe diabetes, for the way to eat properly to help your whole body, to help your whole mind, and help your whole soul. So we are expanding in the community to bring them any and every type of connect and education and resource, including financial resources, that they need to help mitigate the symptoms and the effects of their cancer.
Ooh, that was packed with a punch. I mean, and that is paramount, key, self-advocacy. It's a word I struggle with saying. We're transparent on the show. But you have to be an advocate, and I love this reach approach. And it's wrapped around his whole body, whole mind. You're looking at the family. You're looking at the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Absolutely.
of attacking it. Wow, so that leads me to what is multiple myeloma? What is that about?
Well, that's interesting. I didn't even know about it. My husband didn't until he was diagnosed, and that seems to be the common theme. Multiple myeloma is a rare blood cancer. It starts in your bones. That's where your blood makes your cells, your red blood cells, your white blood cells. There's different types of white blood cells, and those cells either help spread nutrients, oxygen, like red blood cells, throughout your body. White blood cells are actually immune defense. They are the armies that help you fight immune processes in your body, infections. And so multiple myeloma is a proliferation of cancerous plasma cells, which are white blood cells, in the body, in the bone marrow. And so you can understand, if this is a white blood cell that's cancerous and is growing and proliferating and multiplying, and they're not good, healthy, normal white blood cells, they're going to be crowding out the blood cells that are in there. Your red blood cells, your other immune fighting blood cells, which causes a host of all kinds of problems throughout the systems in your body. So the multiple myeloma is a plasma cell that is now malignant, because we know blood is throughout the body. So now you have a malignant cancer. It's already considered malignant because it's throughout your body. But the extent to malignancy, how it's actually affecting the structure of your body, is different. It can change, and it depends on what type of risk and any other comorbidities your body may have. So it's a very complex disease, and that's why we always encourage people that the sooner you get diagnosed, the sooner you understand the history of myeloma, if you may have it in your family, the better off you are.
I got a question a little bit more deeper into this one. You stated that it's a blood cancer and blood goes all through your body. So does it, correct me if I say this wrong, but does it metastasize in other organs, show up?
Let me tell you how it works. So the blood goes throughout your body. If you have a plasma cell that's taken over, then you have things that can happen, like crab. We have crab here. Crab means it can cause some of the symptoms that you normally find. Crab is when you have elevated calcium. So your blood is in your bones. What this does is it causes your bones to be brittle. Your bones hold calcium. Your calcium can leach now into your blood system. Calcium, that much calcium is not good for your body. It's not good for your kidneys. It's not good for anything. So then now you can have having problems with kidneys, right?
Right.
Because you're leaching too much calcium.
Mm.
In addition, your bones become brittle and they can break.
Mm.
Then we have renal failure, which is caused by the proliferation of proteins from your blood, proteins now in your kidneys. We know that African Americans have a high rate of kidney failure, not only because of our food intake, but of all the other host comorbidities that we may have. So that's another thing to be aware of. And then you have anemia, because those red blood cells that help you send oxygen for the rest of your body are now being forced out. They don't have enough room to proliferate the way they should and go to your body the way they should. And so now you become anemic. Anemia, you usually get tired and fatigued. And it's generally very common, kind of common for women when they're young, because we're menstruating, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not as common with men. So men can present quite often with anemia, or most people with back pain, or general fatigue, or there's a cold or something they can't get over, which means the immune system's probably compromised, they can't fight an infection. They're hurting because there may be some lesions or something going on with their bones. They have kidney problems now, they used to not have kidney problems. So that's where it starts affecting the rest of the body.
Wow. And it can mimic other things, so you might not be
Aware. Right.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's where the advocacy comes in. Generally it affects people who are older,
Okay.
right? And so when you're older, you generally start having arthritis, back problems, things like that.
I can testify to that.
Right. Me too. Right? So I always say, when you go, especially for African Americans and people who've had very physical jobs, that may be the case. You have problems with backs later on, but to always know that there may be something else going on, and just don't always take your doctor's word for it. Ask those questions. Just ask, can you run a test and you look for M proteins in my body? Can you do these other things? Because, this is your life. You need to advocate for yourself.
I'm going to shake that up, because that's what Getting to Know is about. That's why we are in collaboration with healthtree.org. Once again, I shout it out again, healthtree.org. If you're tuning in late or you didn't catch something that we're talking about, you can find all of this on healthtree.org. Find out information about this very topic called multiple myeloma. And like Ms. Diane just said, it mimics so many other things that you might not even be aware that that's what's going on with you. And that's in the REACH acronym, advocate. You have to be a self-advocate and do your research, talk with your doctors, become empowered. We got so many tools on the internet now to research things. Once again, you can always find out more information at healthtree.org.
Absolutely can.
Oh.
As you said, arthritis, we all have, all of us are end up probably with some kind of arthritis at some point. The flu, diabetes, lip disc or bulging disc. These are things that are very common for a lot of people, but you got to ask more about it. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, Jalove, you have been listening intently. So, you got anything to weigh in on right quick? Because I do have a few more questions for Ms. Diane.
Well, I do have one question.
Okay.
Does this type of rare cancer has a death sentence, and what is the rate on it?
Well, that's a good question. And the needle seems to be going up, which means people are living a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be, and I'll tell you this, a lot has changed in the last 10 years. When my husband was diagnosed in 2003 with MGUS, and that is generally one of the first stages of myeloma, is monoclonal, I can't think of the name of it. It's monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance. That's generally when there's something going on with your blood, but there's not enough there to say you have multiple myeloma or anything else. It's just a waiting period. I mean, something's going there. It may turn into something or it may not.
Correct.
And a lot of African Americans will present with that. The next stage would be smoldering myeloma. Smoldering myeloma, which means you're beginning to see things in your blood. Doctors may or may not start treating you at this point. And again, smoldering myeloma, people may smolder for 10, 15, or whatever number of years, and it may or may not turn into multiple myeloma. But back to your question, there has been so much advancement in the treatments, the type of treatments for multiple myeloma. My husband, when he was diagnosed in 2002, 2003, watching in 2003, 2006 with active myeloma, there are only a few things that were available. And at that time, it was like, we'll give you 3 to 5 good years.
Okay.
You know, and he was African American. And there's a lot of things he didn't do. He didn't go to the doctor when I kept saying you need to go to the doctor. He kept putting it off. And I'm telling you, everybody, this is the key. Do not put off anything and assume, because you can't go back and change assume a couple years later, right?
We all know where that ends up.
Yes, absolutely,
right?
So I encourage you, go to your doctor and then ask those questions. But it used to be 3 to 5 years. I know people who are 26, 28 years out, and they are doing extremely well.
Gotta check that
Right?
up, yes.
So the key is knowing your body, getting access to treatment, talking to your doctor, understanding what's going on with yourself, understanding your history in your family. That is key.
Yeah.
Because you never know, we don't know what our great grandparents may have died of or been exposed to, or even their parents. And that could be a key to us understanding, unraveling what's going on with our own health. So, and we're going to get at that a little bit later about some of the studies that are out there.
Okay.
But yes, it's because myeloma is so complex. There's different types of myeloma, and high risk, low risk. There's so many things, variables involved. So for you going to a doctor says you only have, that is not how myeloma works, because it's so complex. There's so many different types, and there's so many other treatments and things are available. So I would be encouraged, because it's becoming more of an incurable disease, and a chronic disease versus a terminal one.
Wow, that's great information. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're
for
welcome.
that.
You're
Thank
welcome.
That was packed full of a lot of punches. So as long as you're self-advocating and researching and doing everything, and also you can always find it out on healthtree.org. You can find out more information.
And you can talk to somebody if you have any questions. There's always someone there to talk to.
That part right there, you heard Miss Diana. So
Yeah.
you did kind of cover it a little bit, but what are the screenings out there for multiple myeloma?
Well, you can, the best way to determine if you actually have the disease is do body scans. But from the screenings, from a perspective, I don't have the disease now, but I want to know if I have the genetic propensity to have the disease. Then you can do the PROMISE study. And the PROMISE study, there's no cost for it. It's very simple. It's not evasive. It's blood work. They will send you a test kit. The test kit is sent back. It's very easy. There's no pain involved. It's a very simple test, but it gives you a lot of information as to whether you have a genetic propensity to possibly have this disease. And for anybody out there who's had family members maybe with other cancers, like breast cancer, there are screenings for breast cancers. There are screenings for multiple myeloma as well. Some of the simple things you may be able to find out if you have a spike, something's going on with your blood test, where they say you have an M protein. M protein is very indicative of something going on. And so that means something's showing up in your blood work.
Right.
And you're going to be flagged for that, and your doctor's going to start talking to you about that. But the PROMISE study is huge. It's huge. And it's easy. It's very uncomplicated. They don't give your information out to anyone. It's just a matter of you going and getting screened to find out what maybe you may have a genetic propensity to end up with.
I want to ask something about the PROMISE study, because I actually moved forward on that. So I'm in the process of doing the study to find out what is going on with me, because like you mentioned, there are blood cancers, liver cancers. Those two I choose because that's what my parents died from. So it would behoove me to know. So I thank you for your advocacy, healthtree.org for sure, because it's letting me get in to know about me.
Right?
Yes. I can't have the show called Getting to Know and Not Do It.
Absolutely.
Right?
Thank you. You're absolutely right.
Yes, ma'am.
I have 2 sons who, because their father had myeloma, are going to be doing the PROMISE study because of that.
Yes.
It's always the more we know, the more information we know, the better off we are.
Amen. The more you know, the more you can grow.
That is so true.
So true. And once again, if you want to learn about the PROMISE study and what it's all about, like Miss Diana did say, you got people you can talk to there. You can browse the website and find out way more information about what we're talking about at healthtree.org. I can't say that enough during this show. So, are there any other tests that we might want to focus on getting, or is the PROMISE study going to be a great start?
A PROMISE study is a great start, and then if you go in and have your blood work done, and you're already having some issues like my back's hurting, knees not work, or knees not hurt, then you might just ask the doctor, can you run and see if there's any M proteins or anything in my blood. A lot of people find they have multiple myeloma by accident through a physical blood work, or in my husband's case, we were doing a life insurance policy. And the life insurance policy, they did underwriting, which included urine and blood work, and it showed up on his blood work. So that's how most people find it out. They find out they may have a back problem or broke a bone, and then they go in and find out I have multiple myeloma. Generally at that point, you're already staged, right? You're already in the process of having the disease. Now the PROMISE study is for people who have family members or have a high risk of blood cancers to have that test done.
Well, I guess I fit in that group, and the list of things that can hurt, the symptoms I got arthritis. I don't have diabetes, but I've had the flu here and there, So yeah, definitely we want to pay attention in our ethnic communities, because these things are like presenting and mimicking other things that we might just think, oh, it's okay, I feel a little better now because you got rid of back pain. No. But that was your first clue.
Absolutely. Or you're getting colds, or women are getting urinary tract infections more than they used to. So your body's not fighting those infections like it used to. There's something different.
And we just say, oh, I'm getting old, I'm getting slow.
But you know what? I'd rather get old and know what's going on with my body and fix it.
I gotta take that up.
Then they start getting older and just miserable.
That part right there.
Absolutely.
That part, Miss Diane, you said a mouthful right there. That is true.
But the main thing is, people have to stop being scared to go to the doctor to get that diagnosed.
Preach, darling.
So they can, if not so much help cure themselves, but help keep themselves going, for a longer time. They would know how to work with their body, what to put in their body, and how to treat themselves, because there are a lot of foods and drinks out here that is slowly working with the cancers.
That part.
And if you take a lot of those ingredients up out of your body, you can slow down the process, if not cure it. Because everything has a cure. If there is a disease, it was created a certain way with certain things. And if you change a lot of those things, you can slow down the process, or you can help cure it. And prayers and heavy prayers is the best as well, because the Father could just be taking you through turmoil, so you could be a testimony, as Miss Valerie said, how the lady started this foundation, this program, because she experienced the multi-myeloma rare cancer. So, as I was saying, please go to the doctor, even if you don't think the doctor will work for you. At least get your diagnosis, so you will know how to care for yourself, and you won't just spiral down that road, and then later on you say, I wish I would have went to the doctor.
And now you're sitting up in the bed in the hospital on your last leg, and you could have did something about it. And all of the time it might not work out favorable, but like Miss Diana just said, I want to at least put the fight in there. I want to at least fight for myself. And I'm going to highlight what I always say at the top of the show. P plus K equals S. People plus knowledge equals solutions. Keep that in mind. So you got to get the knowledge, which I'm going to try to get some more knowledge before I get out of this hour at this show from Miss Diana. So could you tell us generally who gets the multiple myeloma?
Well, it doesn't discriminate. However, anyone can get it. And unfortunately, the age is more and more younger. People are getting diagnosed with myeloma for whatever reason. Men are more likely to have myeloma than women. And African Americans have a disproportionate number of getting myeloma as well. Exposure to certain, it was thought that exposure to certain chemicals or radiation or occupational hazards, if you work in an area that has a lot of chemicals, like I see these people spraying yards and we know what happened with Roundup. They
Yep.
don't know why, but they may have a higher risk of getting multiple myeloma because of those exposures. And then the age was generally diagnosed, the generally average age is 69. But again, those ages, some people are becoming younger being diagnosed. I've known of a person who was 16
Ooh.
Wow.
that was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and people at 39, and that's a young age. That affects not just you, but if you have families, young families, that's why we have the support at Health Tree. We have financial support, how you can find financial resources to help you throughout the continuum of your care. Make sure you can get on medications, make sure that you can get the right insurance. I mean, there's so much education we have, and you can talk to someone, especially through our Cure Hub. And our Cure Hub is that area that's going to help people put their information in. Your information is not shared with anyone except for researchers, because the goal is to find out what myeloma does with certain populations, within those populations, and to find a cure for it. So our Cure Hub, where you can send your information in, and it's very easy. Everybody know about MyChart with your hospital, where you can get online, where you can just call us. We can get your information in. It'll go through your lab test, how you did with symptoms, with diagnosis, the treatments, and to put all that information in, and eventually that information going with researchers, they can look at certain things and find out, oh, this is working or this is not working, and they can even refer you to different types of clinical trials or new treatments that, based on your myeloma, how people have been able to respond accordingly.
Wow.
There is a lot out there, and if people knew, there's a lot I didn't know when my husband was diagnosed. It wasn't until after his death that I realized there's a lot that wasn't shared with me. And again, that goes into advocating for yourself. Ask about the cost of your care. Find out about the cost of your care. Find out about your insurance. If you don't have the right insurance, can you change it? Find out about the cost of your insurance. If there's a medical bill that's wrong, 90-some% of medical bills are incorrect.
Hello.
And guess what? Who's paying the cost of that? It's not incorrect on behalf of the hospital. They're not going to undercharge you. And those things can be appealed, and 80% of appealed medical bills are paid.
Yes, they are. I can testify to that. Definitely.
So, keep money in your pocket so you can take care of your other needs.
You know what? On that note, I gotta pay some bills here at the station. We operate off of donations, and I am happy to be able to play the PSA for multiple myeloma today. So this is jam-packed with some more information that Miss Diana is gonna come back around and share with y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and let that one play so y'all can find out some more info.
U.S. are twice as likely to be diagnosed with multiple myeloma as non-Hispanic white persons. In fact, 1 in 5 people diagnosed with myeloma in the U.S. is African American. Unfortunately, African Americans often experience delays in getting a myeloma diagnosis, even when they present with common symptoms, and they're less likely to be offered the most advanced treatments that can save their lives. The good news is that when African Americans have equal access to myeloma care, their outcomes are equal and sometimes better than those of their white myeloma counterparts. The Health Tree Foundation is committed to reaching for health equity to reduce these disparities and ensure that African Americans with multiple myeloma have access to the most advanced diagnosis and care. Our Black Myeloma Health Program offers education, support, and access to tools that can help you take charge of your care and your health. For more information about Black Myeloma Health, our webpage is blackmyelomahealth.org. African Americans in the United States are twice as likely to be diagnosed with multiple myeloma as non-Hispanic white persons. In fact, 1 in 5 people diagnosed with myeloma in the United States is African American. Unfortunately, African Americans often experience delays in getting a myeloma diagnosis, even when they present common symptoms. And African Americans are less likely to be offered the most advanced treatments that can save their lives. Knowing the signs and symptoms of myeloma is the key to getting a timely diagnosis and advanced treatment. Signs and symptoms often mimic other conditions. If you are experiencing persistent bone pain, anemia, or severe fatigue, neuropathy, reduced kidney function, or frequent infections, you should see your doctor immediately. The Health Tree Foundation is committed to advancing health equity for African Americans with multiple myeloma. Our goal is a cure for everyone. You can find education, support, and more at blackmyelomahealth.org.
All right. Y'all heard it. If you want to know more about the Black myeloma and the initiative to become more of a self-advocate, once again, healthtree.org. Very important. Now, I got a few more questions for Miss Diana here in the studio, and it's an hour. It's just not enough time. I enjoy talking with you, Miss Diana.
Oh, thanks.
And I want to get all my questions in, and I'm going to just move on forward so the people can stay in the know. So we ended on the point about who could actually get the multiple myeloma, and you stressed that it doesn't discriminate, but generally the age of 69 is the onset, but you've seen people as young as 16 have it.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about all of that, especially our youngsters, I guess back pains and stuff like that would show up in them a little bit more prevalent, because you'd be like, you kind of young to be getting that. But our older people, they might not, they sum it up as, getting older.
Mm-hmm.
So could you tell us to define, like, what would be some of those defining signs, those triggers that should move us to go to our doctor and advocate?
Certainly. Anemia is one of the big ones that we mentioned earlier. Why are you anemic? And that would show up on a complete blood count, where you're tired. For some reason you're tired, and sometimes this is not just a regular, I worked long today and I'm tired. It's a fatigue that you just absolutely cannot beat no matter how much you sleep. And then you have the back pain. Myeloma likes those big bones. It likes the ribs, it likes your pelvic bone, and that's why when they do testing to find out how your disease is progressing or not, they usually go into the your pelvic bone to get a sample. And then there's neuropathy. A lot of people have diabetes, may be very familiar with neuropathy. Neuropathy is when you get the tingling and the numbness in your fingers, your toes, and you can't feel your feet, and people have a harder time with that. Medications can exacerbate that as well. But as I said, if you get onto healthtree.org and you have some of these issues, there are things to help reduce the effects of neuropathy, both through medication or you may have it because of neurological problems. Then there's, like I said, chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue is horrible. If anyone had COVID, a lot of people with COVID had chronic fatigue. So, I mean, it's things to watch for if you have a cold, you keep getting a cold all the time and you've never had colds before. That doesn't mean you have multiple myeloma. It means there's something going on with your immune system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that there's many diseases that can affect your immune system. If you have like urinary tract infections for women, or for men, again, anemia. Men are generally not anemic. There's things to start thinking about and to ask the doctor questions. Don't say it's old age, just say I'm getting older, or I worked in a yard too long. It could be the case, but what if it isn't? Catch it. The sooner you catch it, the better off you are. And ask the doctor the questions. We're supposed to be partners in our health.
Hello.
Your doctor, and I learned a long time ago, I learned this with my husband, is doctors practice medicine. They're practitioners they're practicing medicine.
Mm-hmm.
They're not saying it's like 1 + 1 is 2. They're knowing that every medication, everything they have can be different for every single person. So they are practicing, they understand modalities and everything of disease, and they're trying to put these puzzle pieces together based on your genetics, based on your health history, your family history, based on where you live, environmental factors. They have to look at all these things, but they can't get that information unless you share it with them.
That part.
And the doctor can't diagnose you correctly unless you're at the right doctor, which means your family doctor is a great gatekeeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're aware of a lot of multiple illnesses and diseases and sicknesses. But if you don't share those things with that doctor and say, I think I need to see a specialist, then you are doing yourself a disservice. A specialist with myeloma only works with myeloma. All they do is work with myeloma patients. So they know myeloma in and out. They know the best treatments. They know what's going on with myeloma. They know everything. If you go to a regular oncologist, they may be working with all these other blood cancers. They don't have time to focus and understand everything about one.
So,
Right.
so true.
And you will want the specialist that
Absolutely.
specializes in that specific thing. And I was just thinking while you were talking, earlier you stated that we're scared to go and find out. And that messes with your mental health. But
It
it
does.
can even really mess more when you find out you could have done something if you had a went and found out. I mean, because I'm listening and I'm jotting down notes of everything that you're saying, and every time you go through the list of symptoms, it's like today alone, I don't have the flu or anything like that, but all the pains and aches and stuff like that, man, I could say I got every symptom right now sitting next to you in this chair.
That's why, like doctors say, when you get ill, don't go to Google, because you start finding out everything and you'll start making up diseases, making up illnesses for yourself.
Right.
And so that's why you go to the source, the people who actually know, right? Go to HealthTree. There's people who actually have the disease, who are walking through this disease, who can help you walk through it and explain things and help you understand the way that you can understand it, versus, you may ask the doctor a question. He's only in there for 15 minutes he can't answer all of your questions.
Right.
Or the way you need to have them answered, or the way you can understand them. So a specialist, the sooner you find a specialist, the better off you're going to be, because that's where your jumping off point for your treatment is going to be.
That part right there. So since we are illuminating the fact that the myeloma is not a discriminatory disease, but I want to bring it back in and focus on our ethnic community specifically. How is multiple myeloma different in our ethnic community?
Unfortunately, in the African American community, we are diagnosed usually 10 years younger than our white counterparts. We're 2 to 3 times more likely to get myeloma than our white counterparts.
Okay.
And when we get the disease, the type of disease we generally present with is generally easierly.
That's all right.
It's more manageable.
Okay.
However, we don't get the care or see the doctors when we should. And so a lot of times when you present, you're really full blown into the disease.
Mhm.
So it reduces the types of treatments and things that you can do, right? So our issue in the Black community, not just with myeloma, it was all kinds of diseases, is having access to the care and not being afraid to go ask a doctor. You are partners in your care.
Partners in your care.
And you are the driver of that car.
Mm-hmm.
Which means when you go in, you need to take the power upon yourself to say, doctor, this is what's going on. Can you tell me who do I need to talk to? And don't just let them say one thing. You need to understand. You need to really understand what's going on and know where the resources are to make yourself understand, to help you understand. And HealthTree can help you with that. We have, on our website, we have access to questions you can ask the doctor, who your healthcare team is, so you'll know who your healthcare team is,
Mm-hmm.
and you can reach that person when it's necessary. So the information's there, we just need to take hold of it.
That part right there killed the hush mouth syndrome that I grew up with in the 70s.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's got to go to the wayside, because otherwise these diseases are killing our ethnic community. We can't emphasize that enough. We have to be a part of our healthcare team. Like Ms. Diana said, we are the drivers of that team. And I know for me, with my own personal healthcare, because I deal with an issue, I'm not going to discuss that now because we own multiple myeloma, but a part of that is I write down how I'm feeling, because sometimes when you get to the doctor, it has been, I start feeling better when I'm there.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I don't remember what was wrong. So
But that doesn't mean it's gone away.
exactly,
Right?
exactly.
And we have to keep a diary. If something strange, keep a diary as what you were doing, what you felt, what was different. And then if you have a lot of questions to ask the doctor, I tell this to a lot of people, write those questions down always have an advocate, somebody with you when you go in, because they can hear things that you're not listening to or hear because you're still stuck on the answer he gave you on something else, right? And then ask the doctor ahead of time if you can, if you can call them, or if they can call you to discuss some of these questions, so that you won't be taking up valuable doctor time, and they're rushed to get this, but still get your questions answered.
And that's being realistic and transparent about it, because they are seeing multiple patients.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you got my chart. You can email them, and if you're not savvy on in the tech world, like Miss Diana just said, write them down, and you can leave some of the questions there.
Exactly.
And he can get back with you later.
Exactly.
Like, that was so cool. I like that. That gets shut up.
Yeah. And then you know what? While you're making a journal of what's going on with you, make a journal of the foods you've been eating. Because that plays a big role in your health as well. Because you could be having an allergic reaction to some the food that you had eaten and didn't realize it was an allergic reaction to the food and not something else. So it's important to keep a journal of your food as well, because the doctors always ask you what you eat, what you have.
Do you smoke?
Yeah.
Do you drink? What you eat? Yeah, you're right, y'all love. Very good point.
And not only that, I learned there's two people you tell the truth to, and that's your doctor and your lawyer.
Your mama too.
Oh, your mama is your doctor, your lawyer, your caregiver. She will drop a bomb on this world for you.
That part.
For the most part, for those who are mothers and understand being a mother.
Amen.
You know, it's not an easy job, but if you love the Creator, love our Father, you can learn to be a mother, because mother is love.
That part right there. So keeping with that in mind, as a mother, even though my child is not here anymore, I still mother other people in a way. So I want to find out a little bit more about this multiple myeloma before we get out of this studio. And could you tell me how it's I know we covered it a tad bit earlier with the MGUS and the PROMISE study, but just remind us, how is it actually diagnosed?
It's generally diagnosed through blood tests when they're looking for different proteins in your blood, like the M protein. Urine tests can pick up proteins in the blood, in the urine that's usually not there. And then scans, imaging, those are when you do bone scans to determine if you have lesions on your bones. That will generally pick up, that is the defining thing there, is if you have lesions on your bones.
Okay, so it's some very in-depth specific tests targeting that. It's not in like a CBC or a basic metabolic panel. It's
There's
a
lot more.
specific.
Exactly.
So definitely we have to get, I would say, move towards getting to your doctor to find that out about yourself.
Right.
So now that we've talked about how it's diagnosed, how is it actually treated?
Interesting. Once they determine what type of blood cancer you have, and again, that's where you're going to work with a specialist, not just your oncologist or your primary care doctor. They're going to determine the best type of treatment for you. You have what they call quad or triplet therapy. Quads is maybe 4 different types of medications in one, and triplet maybe 3 medications in one. There's generally a starting point where doctors will give you usually like Velcade, Revlimid, and dexamethasone, and then they'll go from there. But there's different types of therapies. There's new therapies called immunotherapies, or CAR-T. They've really arrived on the scene in the last couple years, and they are actually developed specific to your genetics. It's generally to your genetics. I mean, there's stem cell transplant. A lot of us are aware of for different types of cancers. But stem cell transplants have been a foundation on the myeloma treatment scale.
Wow, that is deep. So the treatment is tailored to the patient.
Yes, and the immunotherapy is they'll take your blood, and they'll take, I believe it's bone marrow, don't quote me on this, and it's taken to a lab, and they'll break it down, and then it's made or fixed based on your genetics, and then you're giving it back. So now you have it's targeting your cells based on what your genetics is.
You using you
to fight,
right,
to help you.
So you just like, you getting pumped up and getting like all of the bad stuff out and the good stuff in.
Right, it helps your body start developing, hopefully, the good stuff.
Oh, wow.
You know, see, and we wouldn't know that. Doctors wouldn't know that unless there are people who participated in clinical trials who gave their information to them to say, what can we do to move this treatment and move this cure forward. And that's where it comes us, African Americans, to participate in clinical trials, and they're paid for. The clinical trials are paid for. You don't have to worry about that. A lot of times they'll even give you calls for travel. And you get the cutting edge, and you can get off of it at any time. If you decide, I don't want to do this trial, you can say it, thank you, but no. And they're going to monitor you. It's not like they're going to intentionally cause you any harm.
Right.
It's not what we see on television on these science fiction movies. It's not that.
That's why you gotta check. Hey, I suggest more information can be found at healthtree.org. So, moving along to my next question, which again you did cover it, but it's worth saying again. Why is it important to see a multiple myeloma specialist?
Okay, so if you had a car and you had a Porsche, right? Are you going to take that Porsche down to the Chevy dealer?
No.
He isn't going to know anything about it except you got some tires. You know, all cars have tires, right? If you have multiple myeloma, a very complex disease, genetically complex, you need to go to a doctor who knows about myeloma and the complexities regarding that disease. When you start with a specialist, you're starting off with the best care that you can get. Why wait until you've all had all these other treatments and you've moved down the road 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and now it's too late to go back and get the treatments that are going to help you?
What? Yep. You know what? That falls under the KISS principle. And that's keep it simple, stupid. I'm not calling anybody stupid. Y'all know I say it just about every week. But sometimes the lowest denominator is the most common denominator. And you, like Ms. Diana just said, you're not going to take your Porsche to no Chevy or Yugo dealer. You're going to go to the Porsche dealer.
And we're all Porsches or Lamborghinis.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. I got a quick story, and then we're going to wrap it up and get out of here about the Porsche, Miss Diana. I think you might have heard it before, John. I was about 12 or 13 years old, and my mom, I told my mom, I want a Porsche. I barely was riding a bike. So my mom was like, yeah, I'm going to get you this Porsche. So my mom, I came home from school one day. She's like, I got you the Porsche. And I'm like, where is it at? She's like, go in your room. I'm like, ain't no Porsche in my room. My mama took the biggest picture of my head that she had of me, cut out a Porsche car and put my head in the car.
I know that's right.
Yes, that's how my mom liked to do. But you know what? The whole moral of that story is, you know, we are Porsches. Get your head straight in your car. You are worth the investment. It's ROI, return on investment. I've said it countless numbers of times on this show. You are your most important investment. That's why you can find out more about multiple myeloma at healthtree.org.
And you can join the Black Myeloma Health Community chapter. We have Connect, where you can ask specific questions or talk to people in that Connect group. We have Facebook groups. And we have the Cure Tour. We were talking about getting that information in to find more treatments. Is a Cure Tour can come to Cincinnati and sit down and talk to you guys and gather your information. You know, and you can be a participant if you have myeloma in curing myeloma. Anytime you give us your information, you are participating in a cure. Can you imagine what kind of legacy is that?
That's a priceless legacy.
It is.
Priceless. Before I get out of here, I do want to play the public service announcement about the multiple myeloma that we played earlier, so you guys can hear the message again. I want to thank Miss Diana for being in the studio and sharing transparently about how we can become self-advocates for overcoming this, or at least being able to deal with it. And again, you can look it up on healthtree.org to find out more information. You can also always follow us on Facebook here at Getting the Know, GiTK. Check us out on Facebook again at Get in the Know, GiTK. So before I get out of here, y'all love, you got anything else you want to bless the mic with?
Sure. Y'all, life is very valuable. I know we love life, but don't be scared to go to the doctor to get a lump check, your hands acting up, anything that feel unnormal and usual about your body, please go get it checked. Just because the doctor give you a diagnosis, that does not mean it's a death sentence. That means take care of yourself better, make changes. And two, go get a second opinion. The first opinion, you don't have to always go with that. Get a second one. And if you really nervous or scared, go get a third one. And compare the three together. And whatever you have, two of them gonna say it's the same thing. So take care of yourself. Try to eat healthy. Try to stay hydrated. And please get in your fruits. We need all the juice, the water, the health benefits from motherland, fatherland, from the earth. Try to eat healthy as much as possible. I'm not telling anyone to change, but love on yourself, because if you don't love yourself first, who else gonna love you other than God?
Woo, that gets us up. Amen, amen, amen.
Yes, amen to that one.
Now, Miss Diane, I know you filled us full of knowledge. And when you give that much knowledge, I call it knowledge. I pronounce that K. Okay? So before you get off this mic, would you give us like a 30-second to a minute wrap up?
Brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers and anybody listening, if you have any kind of illness, please take care of yourselves. Find someone an advocate, a friend, a family member to go with you to the doctor. And we need to stop being afraid, because the worst fear is when you're sitting in that room and you have all your family members around you and you did not do something that could have helped you. Because now that fear is theirs. What are they going to do without you? What are they going to do when you're suffering? Nobody wants to see anyone suffering. And if we can take care of ourselves, ask the questions, talk to the specialist, get our best care, you're going to have your best life.
Amen.
I love
Amen.
that.
Shake
that up. Y'all heard it. Miss Diana said it. And in case you want to hear it again, you can go to our Facebook page, because we're going to upload the video. This is some very important information for our ethnic community, but communities abroad, because like she said, it does not discriminate. And thank you, Miss Diana, for doing your part.
You're welcome.
Being loyal to the initiative and coming in on the show. And we're gonna cover this more coming around for the year, because not next month, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So y'all stay tuned, callers, listeners, and everything, and Health Tree and Getting to Know. We're gonna keep you guys informed. And as so, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know where y'all can keep the show on the air at. Getting to Know. If you want to donate to our show, you can donate at waveradio.org and go to the donate tab. And when you do that, just put Getting to Know as the show that you get the credit. If you want to send us something snail mail, go ahead and put Getting to Know on your check and mail it to 1434 East McMillan Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45206. And every donation of $25 and more gets a Getting to Know authentic candle gift set. And I want y'all to know, these candles that I'm blessing people with at this moment are candles that me and my daughter infused, extracted, and blended the scent. So I got a few more left, so they are near and dear. So you will be getting a piece of my baby's heart in this candle, and I'm happy to share it, and I'm glad for my listeners being here. So now I'm going to go ahead and play our PSA and let that take us out for the day. And then until we meet again, one love always. I release y'all in peace.
Peace and love. All right.
We should be playing.
Everyone
Boy, an
stay
hour goes by
joyful.
fast, doesn't it?
Everyone
Yes.
stay joyful and stay happy and stay grounded, so we can have a blessed day. And once again, thank you for listening to us. Our listeners are very valuable to us, because we enjoy giving out information and solution, and we put in the work. We put the work in because we want to show the love for the community and for the people, and we need to come together. We should work together, and let's try to keep the violence down. The violence is just like a disease as well, just like cancer. Because people was picking up guns and slinging them around.
All right. We will not let technology beat us today. I had it going for us, and there we go.
The U.S. are twice as likely to be diagnosed with multiple myeloma as non-Hispanic white persons. In fact, 1 in 5 people diagnosed with myeloma in the U.S. is African American. Unfortunately, African Americans often experience delays in getting a myeloma diagnosis, even when they present with common symptoms, and they're less likely to be offered the most advanced